Gold, ghosts, and Zorro. This is Woody, California. I'm Mike Smith with Porterville Ghost Society, and I'm in Woody, California, a small, quiet town hidden in the foothills just north of Bakersfield. But this town holds some secrets of a more turbulent past. The year is 1862, and Dr. Sparrow Woody was a farmer in Bakersfield. And that winter, they had a storm so severe that the entire area flooded. And he decided to sell his farm. And he sold his farm to a man by the name of Colonel Thomas Baker, who, by the way, on that very same spot years later, founded the town of Bakersfield itself. But Dr. Sparrow Woody moved up here to these foothills, and he started farming again. And by 1869, his farm had grown to over 4,000 acres, and a community had emerged around his farm. And in that community, he helped build the first school and the first church, and the community was so grateful that they named the town after him. And by the 1890s, gold and copper had been discovered here, and the town flourished. But like most boom towns, it didn't last. Now, not much remains of the original town. I know about 130 people call this place home. But that's not the end of our story. You see, years before, somebody else called this place home. Actually, it was the caves up in the foothills that he called home, and it was a bandit by the name of Joaquin Murrieta, the Robin Hood of El Dorado. Now, Joaquin Murrieta's story begins in 1849. And in 1849 in California was the big gold rush. And like many other people, Joaquin Murrieta was a gold miner. But one night, him and his wife were brutally attacked by other gold miners. And he decided to enact revenge. And he got his revenge on gold miners and other people throughout the state of California. And he went on a 4-year spree of robbing people throughout the entire state. In fact, he was such a prolific bandit that the state had issued a bounty of $6,000 on his head. And the California Rangers got involved and they formed a posse. And then one fateful night outside of Coalinga, California, July 25th, 1853, they caught up to Joaquin and his gang, and they murdered every single one of them. Now, these California Rangers needed proof of death to collect their bounty. So they did was behead him. They beheaded Joaquin Murrieta, and they placed his head in a vat of whiskey, and they took that to Sacramento and claimed their bounty. But Joaquin's head wasn't done delivering yet, and they weren't done collecting off of it. They then took his head and traveled throughout the entire state, collecting $1 so you too can see the head of Joaquin Murrieta. Then, throughout time, this head found its way to San Francisco, to the museum, and it stayed on display there until the great earthquake of 1906, where it was lost forever. But his story doesn't end there either. You see, in 1919, a young writer by the name of Johnston McKelly decided to use the story and was inspired by the story of this Robin Hood of El Dorado. And he created one of the most well-known fictional characters of our time. He created the character of Zorro, based on Joaquin Murrieta. Now, this town holds more secrets than that. And one of the other secrets is there's a shadow figure that walks the streets of Woody. And this shadow figure has been known and been seen to walk the streets as if he's looking for something or trying to find something. And residents have reported that this shadow figure will knock on doors, only to have them open that door and have him not there, disappear. This shadow figure will knock on windows, only to have him disappear when they look out the window. Who the shadow figure is and what he wants, nobody knows. They're too afraid to ask. So I'm going to ask you, if you find yourself on Garces Highway, just north of Bakersfield, and you're driving along and you see a shadow figure walking, stop. Ask him what he wants. Who knows, it could be Joaquin Murrieta, looking for gold that he might have hidden in these foothills.